Hello, and welcome back to Season 2, Episode 107 of Paranormal NL Podcast on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, and Pocket Casts. I'm your host, Jen. For tonight's show, let's give a shout out to who introduced me to tonight's guests. Big shout out to Kings and Queens Paranormal, David and Samantha Moody, who were on PNL Podcast Season 2, Episode 94. And a big shout out to Wolf Worldy Paranormal, which is a collab with Wolfpack Paranormal. And Wolfpack were on P&L Podcast Season 2, Episode 90 with Adrian, James, and Jeff. Let's send out some hugs tonight to everyone around the globe still dealing with all those summer fires. Now it's time to pull up that cozy chair and a nice cold one and listen into your favorite podcast. Paranormal NL Podcast is a place where the people of Newfoundland and Labrador, Canada, and anywhere else in the world can share their paranormal experiences. P&L Podcast also believes in supporting people, places, and things to promote paranormal tourism and paranormal networking all over the world. A big thank you again to all the P&L Podcast alumni guests from Season 1 and 2, and of course our fans. We want to hear your stories. Do you have any paranormal, supernatural, UFO, cryptid creatures, folklore, historical, or tales of the weird you'd like to share as a guest on my P&L podcast? Please reach out to me on Facebook, Instagram, or Gmail. After your episode, you'll become part of the P&L Podcast Alumni Network. And don't forget, you can also share your stories anonymously, or you can watch and listen with your smart TV for free on that Spotify app. Make sure you click on the Spotify bell or subscribe and follow along to get updates for new episodes. Head on over to Facebook and join our group, Paranormal NL Podcast group. Find new P&L episodes in the featured section of the group. We're listening to our fans. P&L Podcast is now on Instagram, and I also have a P&L Facebook page for Instagram Reel Drops. Woo! For fans, who are not on Instagram, Paranormal NL Podcast is now available on iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, and Pocket Casts, and also coming soon to YouTube with Season 1 and Season 2 via audio and Streamyard with video episodes soon being uploaded. Stay tuned also for a new branch of Paranormal NL Podcast with a new BOG team. That's our boots on the ground. Excuse me, folks. My gosh, I got a frog in my throat. I got to do another cough. Yeah, remember I talked earlier about doing stuff in the raw? Well, this is the first time for me. Paranormal NL Podcast now has a P&L BOG team. Merch is now available on TeePublic with lots of different logo designs and swag ideas that fans asked for. Without further ado, let's bring onto the stage. Let's put him on the stage here. Hello, we've got Ron Wendland from Michigan. And we've also got Don Martin from Michigan, and they are from the Ghost, Whisperers. Oh my God, I'm dying over here. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm going to hand it over to you before I drown in whatever I've got going on over here. I think it must be my cat. He's like right next to me. Okay. Tell us more about the Ghost Whisperers. Tell us how you became. I know there's 7 members of your team.
Yes. Most of us are located here in Michigan, but we have one member that is in Kentucky too. And she comes and meets us wherever we go because we are more of a traveling team. We've been a team together for a few years now, but we were all a part of 2 other teams before this team, before we created this one. And then they all elected me to be the founder of, our team leader.
Nice.
Yeah, so it was nice, and it was my honor to do that. And we go out about every month, and we added on a few new people like Ron, and wouldn't have had it any other way. It's like we're really close even outside of the paranormal. Like we hang out with each other.
I love that y'all are doing a collab. So what was the names of the other teams before they, you became Ghost Whisperers?
I was on Lower Michigan Paranormal Society, and then a few of us from that team branched off. We were the leader had an ideal of an all-women's team called High Heels and Hauntings. And then we had one male member on there that wanted to be with us. But she unfortunately moved to Florida. So then that's when we were like, well, we still want to go out and investigate. So that's how the Ghost Whisperers were born.
Wow, I'm so happy to have you on. I don't think I've had anybody from Michigan on yet.
Oh, wow. We have quite a few teams here.
Yes, and you're no stranger to the cold, are you?
No, not at all.
What's the weather like in your neck of the woods now? Is it good for ghost hunting outside or it's way too hot?
Right now, it's like the absolute perfect temperature. I mean, we're right about 80 degrees and 60 at night. I mean, it doesn't get any better.
So if somebody was going to go to Michigan and you were doing some paranormal tourism, where would you send them?
I would send them to Eloise Asylum.
Eloise. Okay.
Only about 10 minutes away from my house, but it was a poor farm and it had over 200 buildings at its height. Now there's only like 3 buildings, but only one is really accessible. And they've been holding ghost tours out of there since 2017.
Okay, yeah.
In 2016, I worked there a few seasons and I've gotten apparitions and videos and pictures. I mean, it was just an amazing asylum.
Sounds like a hot spot. They usually are, aren't they? Isn't that funny? Ron, what do you think?
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, there's so much trauma that went on in those types of places. You know, it's hard for there not to be any type of paranormal activity.
Yeah. Do you have any favorite things that, or places that you guys went, Ron, that you want to share about?
I really liked Eloise. I went there last year on my birthday, and it was like a last minute thing, and I jumped at the chance to go. And I really had a good time there.
Tell us more, for fans listening, because we got people listening from all over the world here. So what's Deloise?
Eloise is that asylum that she was just talking about in Wendland, Michigan.
Oh, that's the same one. That was your favorite too?
It's one of my favorites. We just investigated a place in Ohio called the Madison Seminary, and we got some pretty good activity there. And I'm really anxious to go back and investigate more there. Beale Manor, also in Fremont, Ohio. That's a really good one. Super active location. And a lot of people know about it and, try to get in there as much as they can. We try to get in there as much as we can because the activity there is just crazy some nights. So that's probably one of my top ones right there is Beale Manor.
What's your favorite kind of activity for you, both of y'all, to see or find?
I like hearing the disembodied voices.
Do you?
I love that part. Or
the EVP stuff, yeah, or especially when it's audible.
Even to hear a mimic use your voice.
No, that's weird, isn't it?
I love that stuff. What about you, Ron?
Well, I'm gonna have to tell my story now because I do love hearing the disembodied voices. There's nothing like that, or playing back EVPs and catching some that's clearly audible.
Or falling through a floor. And have the spirit say, "Are you okay?"
So tell us, what's the most scariest thing that you've ever encountered, in your opinion?
The scariest thing that happened to me, it's actually the first time I've ever been scared on an investigation. We were at an Indiana location, and we sleep everywhere we investigate. So we stay overnight.
All night long.
Wow. Yeah.
We had laid down. There was 3 of us there that night. Dawn and our teammate Doris was on one air mattress. I was on another one. And as I'm falling asleep, I heard Dawn call my name. And I just ignored her because I thought she was just messing with me. So I'm trying to go to sleep. So I didn't say a word, and then about 2 minutes later, and she said it again, and I just like grunted a little bit, like hoping maybe she would just say what she had to say and, or laugh or do whatever she does, and nothing. And then a third time I heard my name and Doris jumps up and says, "Why do you keep calling Ron?" And Dawn was already asleep. She's like, "What are you talking about? I'm not even, I'm facing you. I'm not, you'd be able to hear me,
Hear me now.
So there was a disembodied voice that called my name 3 times while I was laying there. And so that kind of freaked me out. And I was up for like the next couple hours because I was hearing conversations. I could hear conversations between 2 and 3 people, but they weren't audible. I could just hear them. And I'm like running around this place with a flashlight trying to figure out where these noises are coming from. And I was freaked out. That was the first time that it ever happened to me. So that was by far my most favorite experience.
For sure, yeah. To hear your own name being called out, and Dawn wasn't even around. What about you,
It was
Dawn?
her voice. It was
Really? So it was like
Yeah.
that's so weird. Hey,
One of my favorite places is a place called the Monroe House. And they
Monroe
call
House.
it
Mhm.
the Demon House. But we were all investigating on High Heels and Hauntings. We were in this blue room, and over the voice chat, you just could hear this voice come through. It was so evil. And I remember we were all so scared, but everybody's attitude changed. We got angry with each other. We were like, we really think there's something evil in here with us. I mean, it everybody in that room could have killed each other. We had one team member crying, one screaming at one for like breathing too loud. Somebody's yelling at somebody for saying an EVP too fast. So it was crazy. And as soon as we got out of there, we were like, what in the hell just happened here? I mean, it was like something I've never experienced.
Yeah, that is weird when stuff like that happens. What does your team do do you do like a protection prayer before, or do you bring sage and all that? Like what does your team do?
We have team members that will bring sage with them or protection stones. I kind of raw dog it. I don't do anything. I just go in.
How about you, Ron? Anything that you do?
No, there's nothing really that I do. I do carry. I had started carrying some stones with me that were to basically open myself up more, because that was always in the beginning. That was always my biggest problem, is um, making myself open to paranormal activity, and experiencing it. Because I wasn't experiencing anything at first, and then I was told by another member of our team, Don. I asked him, I was like, "How do you get these feelings? How do you, experience this?" And he just told me, "You have to open yourself up. You can't be guarded. You just have to expect for it to come, and it will." And then I was at a Paracon, and I got to talking to a medium, and she was suggesting some stones, and just to carry them with me, and that would help. So that's all I really do. As far as saging or anything like that, I don't do anything like that. No.
So what about the rest of your team members? Tell us more about them.
Doris, she deals with coins and things like that. She went and has a degree in parapsychology and something else, but she's studied in the paranormal field. She was also on a team for 10 years before she joined High Heels and Hauntings with me, and then came on the Ghost Whisperers. Then we have Don. He is a man of many jobs, including a city council job, a police officer. So he's very spiritual and he's able to like sense things also. So he's a huge asset. We have Jennifer. She is got the equipment. She comes along. She hustles hard on these investigations. She makes it fun. And my daughter, Savannah, she investigates with us also. She's in a young 20s, so she's old enough, but she's been doing it since she was 17. So she's got more experience than a lot of people already.
Well, they say the younger ones get a lot of activity stirred up around them.
Yeah, I mean, Savannah, she's a sensitive also, and she can feel things. And I trust her. I'm like, what are you feeling? What do you know? We got Susie. She's our Kentucky member. She is my cousin, actually, but she's the first person I ever ghost hunted with down in West Virginia. So it was just natural for her to join us. And we go out of state everywhere.
I love that you travel around everywhere.
Yes.
Do you have, like you mentioned already, some of your favorite places?
Yes.
Do you have any bucket lists that you haven't been to yet?
I do. I mean, I think we all do. I would love to go out to California to, like, you know, what's the name of the hotel?
Goldfield. The Goldfield?
No.
Not that one?
The one where Richard Ramirez stayed at.
Oh, that one in Los Angeles. What is that? The Congress? Was it called? I think it was called the Congress Hotel, maybe?
There was a lot of famous people that stayed there, and they just started letting in paranormal people.
Yeah, but
I'd love to do on West.
In West, yeah. Do you have any favorite places on your bucket list, Ron, that you haven't been?
I would like to experience ghost towns of the West. And I would like to explore in the UK, Ireland, you know, places like that. Places rich in history.
Yes, you would love over here in Newfoundland Labrador. We're the oldest city in North America. We've got some really old stuff. And you know what's funny? We don't have a lot of paranormal tourism here because because we're so small and we're an island. People are like, oh, I knows who that is, and you know they're going to talk about you, and everybody's afraid. You know, you can't really talk about it because they think you're nuts or something.
I've seen that in a lot of countries where they got to keep it like really quiet.
On the down low,
not accepted.
Yes, that it is like that here. It's kind of like an underground thing because you know you talk about it with any Joe Blow, and they're like looking at you like, what?
Right. I know, it's crazy.
Do you guys get a lot of that around your cities where you live?
We don't. I mean, it's so accepted around where we are. And I mean, everybody is always trying to do it around spooky season.
Right, yeah.
We're
coming up on pumpkin spice season.
We're going somewhere. So I'm like, as soon as it calms down and Halloween goes away, people will forget about it. Things will go back to normal for us. But that couple little months, it makes it a little harder. But we book our stuff up in January for the year. Yeah.
You got a lot of stuff coming up soon, or?
We have a few Paracons that we're going to be hitting, and then our next investigation is in November, the 21st, 22nd. We're going to Wildwood Sanitarium in New York.
New York, nice.
It's all like Indian grounds there. I've been there a few times. This would be Ron's first time there. A few members on my team, it'll be their first time, but a few of us have been like 3 times.
So you do a lot of traveling.
We do.
That must get quite expensive. Hey, Ron?
That's not as bad, you know, as you think. I mean, we all put in for gas. We all put in for food. You know, it's it's a shared effort, you know.
Oh,
And
so you're driving. You don't fly.
Yeah.
no, we've done pretty much Ohio, Indiana, New York, Kentucky,
West. Yeah.
places like that. So it's all within driving distance, 6 hours or less.
Okay, that makes things a lot easier for sure.
Yeah.
I'll pile you all into the one camper or vehicle or something and go around.
Well, we usually load up about 2 cars. We pack in and all of our stuff. A few people on our team have trucks, so we're able to pack a lot up in there. So we do.
Yeah, how do you deal with all your equipment? Like if you go to a hotel, where do you hide all that stuff? So when you come out, it's still there.
We just hope nobody goes in our room. Basically, we never even thought about that.
Yeah, that's a lot of equipment to haul around for
to
sure.
Places, but most of the places we go, they have good locks, and I trust where I'm at.
So how do you guys deal with the tech portion of it for downloading everybody's video and going through it all? Does everybody look at their own stuff, or is there one tech guy or person or girl who does it? Or
I have everybody look at their own, except for if we're doing a DVR, because that could be so many hours per camera. I'll help with that viewing, but normally we'll review our EVPs on the spot and review our camera footage as soon as we're done, and then we'll report it back in a chat room together.
okay, yeah, that's a good idea. Because I know, and then you get the person though who'll say, "Well, I want to review or swap it out." I've heard people
Yeah.
swap out stuff because, okay, you were the one doing it, but you didn't know that while you were talking, oh, look what's behind you, or did you hear that? Or, some people say it's easier just to give somebody else their stuff and look at somebody else's.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
I like that we review on the spot.
On the spot, yeah, that's always good to do
Ease.
too. Because I know some people also download it all on the same hard drive, like external drive, and then go and then they. Do you guys like make reels and stuff with it? I know you talk about your new group, Wolfpack Whispers.
It's the Royal Wolfpack Whisperers. We just made the group last
Royal.
night. We wanted to have a group where teams could come and share their evidence, because everybody investigates so different. Some people love doing the old school styles. Some are ITC people. Some are in between. And some are just beginners. And we don't feel like it's fair to tell anybody that their style is wrong. We wanted to have like a safe place for everybody to share their evidence, because there's not no group out there to just share evidence. There's sharing groups, but they're sharing podcasts and pages. But I was like, we need a little database that we can all just have. Like, say if I went to the Beale Manor and I caught the Shadow Man, I want to show people that that's what I got there, and let them see what room I got it in, to see if they wanted to get it too.
Nice. Yeah, I like that. And can people just drop stuff there and say, "Hey, check this out. Do you see
Yes.
anything that I don't?" or something like that?
Yes, we're all about let's share our evidence, review with each other, like get another opinion. You might see something they didn't see the first time, or vice versa.
Right. So,
So
Ron, do you guys ever do events too? Like host them?
We have not, as of yet, hosted any events.
Have you guys thought about doing that, Dawn?
we have in the past, but we keep ourselves so busy going to places. We're going somewhere every month. I mean, the first half of the year, we were going like twice a month somewhere. So it's like we're always busy doing something. But now we're going into this season. So we do our trunk or treats for the kids, and we got Paracons coming up. And so it's like we're trying to squeeze all these little shows in.
Tell me more about your trunk or treats. What do you guys do for that in Michigan?
So people will drive up with their cars and they put candy in their trunk and they decorate the trunk for Halloween. And then the kids have a safe place to go trick or treating. So they go trunk to trunk. And so people really go out. I mean, decorate them all up. Last year, our car was a ghost. It was
Oh,
just all ghost all over. And I wore a ghost dress. And we actually did one in the cemetery. It was a trunk or treat in the cemetery.
oh my goodness.
The cemetery set it up, and I'm like, we're there.
Did your whole team go there for that?
Two of us did, but
Yeah,
everybody couldn't make it. I think it
right.
was on a weeknight.
So you guys got a lot of fun activities and go travel all over the place.
Yeah.
So what do you guys think? I know you told me your bucket list and some of your favorite places that you've been. So tell me more about your socials. Now, if people want to follow the Ghost Whisperers, I know we talked about your new one, the Royal Wolfpack Whisperers. Where can people find you and follow your stuff?
You can go to the Ghost Whispers on Facebook, TikTok, or Instagram. I'm known as My Para Stories on Instagram and TikTok. I mostly post all of our like clips of videos over there or make them into reels here and there, but mostly on TikTok I post them.
TikTok.
Yeah, we'll go live a lot from our Facebook though.
Nice. Okay. So you do go lives on the Facebook. Okay. So yeah, I'll get a couple of those links out to you guys, and we'll get this episode produced tonight and get it out to everybody. I want to thank you guys so much for being on the show tonight and sharing about Michigan and about the Ghost Whisperers. It's all very fun.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you
Yeah.
very much. It's been
Thanks,
fun.
Brian. Thanks, Dawn. It was really nice to meet you both.
And
And
You as well.
yeah, everybody look out and drop your stuff and help them out. Royal Wolfpack Whisperers, go follow them and go follow them on their page too, the Ghost Whisperers.
thank you.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
guys.